Hello, Nick64 here from the Basement of Nerds, doing a 3DS review. Actually, I'm going to start doing more of these 3DS reviews because I've recently started to discover that, well, just personally, I'm, I think 3DS is probably the best gaming console I've ever had possession of. Like, literally, I love the Game Boy, loved Game Boy Advance and DS and stuff. So this one, it's just bringing out so many high quality titles. It's amazing. I mean, literally, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, it was hard for me to go out of just Pokemon. I'm like, I got Pokemon. What else? Everything else looks just meh. Be at the time that the 64 and GameCube and stuff were out, and I was just like, I've got these games that are just beautiful, and then we got all these pixels that hurts man. And there's nothing wrong with that because I love like games like I can still play Game Boy games like Darkwing Duck on there, even though it's an NES game too. I can play both of them. They're both fun, and I can't think of a name at the top of my head right now, but because all the Mario games in Game Boy Advance. Oh, Super Mario Land. No, Super Mario Land 2. Something Golden Coins. I don't know, but it's like amazing game and I love it. But this is no, literally, I love my 3DS. It's probably the best gaming home console game. God damn it, portable system. And then, yeah, it's gonna be unedited, so I might cuss a little lot. I usually can't control it, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, I can get it under wraps for these because I don't like to during reviews. Uh, and it's not going to be numeric, of course. And I just want to do it because this is one of those systems. It was not the first system. It's not going to be the last. Especially now that we use that, it's like Nintendo has lost their ways. They're going down, and it's like, wow, look at it right now. It's selling amazingly well, amazing. And but enough about that. We're going to talk about the real reason I started this video is to do a review of Mario and Luigi Dream Team. And if you didn't know, I'm a you probably know I'm a big fan of the Mario RPGs. We've got a Super Mario RPG Legend of Seven Stars show going every time we can get at them, and that's great. If you see me looking over there, I've got like just a few words like up villain stuff I gotta talk about, so I'll get to that. But I love these games. I love them. I love the gameplay. I love the writing. I love the designs. I just love everything about these games. They're so much fun. There's a lot of RPGs have that really depressing atmosphere. So when you get a game like this, it's really just a lot of fun. You can't help but get sucked into it. It's just so much fun. And it's so happy. Uh, so let me talk about pretty much the design of it. Just because I had to talk about it just graphic wise, it looks like sprite animation for the most part. Like all the characters are sprite animation. They got like 8 little angles, and that's about it. But everything else looks like it's 3D rendered and then pixelated over. So it's like if you can do like a camera angle change, and the pixels will like change one little angle, like the sprites will, the character sprites. It will it'll move in like 360 motion perfectly, and it's fantastic. I love it. I remember me and my brother saw like the trailers for this game when it first came out, and it's been out for a while now. We're in the U.S., so we got it last, but we saw trailers for the game, and it looked amazing. We're like, this is a beautiful game. This right here, that's a beautiful game. And no, we were just blown away by it. It's one of the most creative looking and fantastic. It just looks fantastic. Pixel art and all, even though I just said pixel art. No, I love it. I love it. It does give a older feeling of like Super Mario Legend of the Seven Stars. My friend keeps bringing it up. It looks like Legend of the Seven Stars. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Just a little bit nicer, just because it's newer hardware. But yeah, it does give off that vibe, and I love it. I'm just gonna keep saying that I love the game. I'm gonna keep saying I love it. So it's like, oh, you already know. I love it. Gameplay wise, okay. Out of all 4 of the Mario and Luigi RPG games, I played Partners in Time first, and I know a lot of people like to hate on Partners in Time, but I think Partners in Time was probably my favorite out of the 3, just because maybe I just played it first, but I like the gameplay the most. I like having an interaction with the babies, holding them back, doing all the hammer stuff, having the other jump, A, then X, that sounds more like controls, but it felt like really polished, and every jump felt like you actually pressed it. Here, there's one thing I want to talk about. This one, it felt like the timing either was different or a little bit harder because I feel like getting excellence in this game is the hardest out of any of the games. It just feels like you gotta be more precise, and that makes it more challenging. But it kind of makes me a little bit more frustrated. But it's good. It's good. I'm kind of glad they did that. There's a part of me that's like, "Ugh," and there's a part of me like, yeah, more challenge, make it more precise. But like I was talking about the other games, I know people love Bowser's Inside Story, but gameplay wise, I thought yeah, using Bowser and stuff was really creative, but I never felt like it was like, oh, so fast paced. It was just kind of like, wait for that punch, wait for it. Okay, you got that punch. I don't remember. I don't even remember his other attacks. Bowser's Inside Story kind of just felt like it was really fast. I love the game and all, but out of all four, I think it's the only one I didn't go back and replay. Yeah, I'm going to with Adam eventually, but I don't know why. I liked the game. I loved it, but it's just like, why can't I go back and play that one? I went back and played Partners in Time like 7 times. And the same thing with the Superstar Saga, so I don't know why. I'm doing Dream Team right now in hard mode, which, by the way, is actually really, really hard. But I don't know why. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on that, but I don't know why I can't. I gotta go back and replay it, because maybe it'll be like the Twilight Princess effect, where I'm like, that was good, but it wasn't as amazing as, like, let's say Majora's Mask or Wind Waker, and then I go back and I'm playing it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's still not I still like Majora's Mask and Wind Waker better, but I like Twilight Princess. It's amazing. I got the hat right here. So, there you go. I love that game, but I just have a high... it just sets such a high bar, it's just ridiculous. And that's another thing with this game. Is that it sets this bar, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, I like this game better, and I like this game better. And I hate saying that, and I wish I'd kind of just drop this thing, cause where I said Bowser's Inside Story I didn't like as much, because I do like it. I really do. And I hate saying, like, oh, I like this one better, and I like this one better, because, damn it makes you feel like, oh, well, why? What's better about this game? Why do you not like this game? It's like, I do like the game. It's just hard to explain why I prefer such little things over on this game compared to this one. And Dream Team does a lot of creative things with its gameplay. And for the starters, it keeps the gameplay similar, like extremely similar, closest to Superstar Saga, actually. And it keeps it comfortably safe, but it does a lot of new things with it, which is kind of the route I think a lot of people who are like Paper Mario fans want the series to go, especially with Super Paper Mario and Sticker Star. You're kind of just like thirsty for a new Thousand-Year Door Paper Mario style of gameplay. This one, they've done... Mario and Luigi games are usually pretty safe on that, but they did a lot of creative things. I love all the 3D kind of things they did with, like, people shooting at you, like, from far away with the water guy, or the last battles, or I'll get into those later, or using the ball and going in, making it more precise. They got the 3D, like, this is one of the few games where I'm like, I need to play this game in 3D, not just because it makes it even look more impressive than it already does, but some of those jumps and some of the dodges you have to do are a lot more difficult without it on, because I hate those Coconut Knights guys, or Coco Knights, whatever they are. I hate them. I hate them so much, and you need to have a 3D on for that to make it a lot easier, because half the time I'm like, am I in the circle? Am I in the circle? No, I'm not in the circle. I had to 3D up the first time I went against those guys, and it's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. You can still play it like whatever with the new 2DS, and you probably still be fine, but I was just having the hardest time trying to figure out, what am I doing? Like, where is the circle? Where is the radius? Where's anything? But, yeah, I felt like it didn't even give me, like, some earlier 3DS games where I don't think they had it quite down. Gave me kind of a splitting headache. This one I played a majority of in 3D, and it didn't give me a headache whatsoever. I played it for like 5 hours straight the first day with the 3D on, and I'm like, how am I not getting irritated at all? Me and my brother talked about it. I was like, yeah, why did games like Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land give me a headache, and now this one's not? I have no idea. I don't know how that works, but they did it well. They did it amazingly well. And next one, I guess I'm going to go on writing, and the writing is so funny. It's so funny. It's funny from the beginning to the middle to the end. It's great. I remember, like, when I really, really started to notice that it was getting extremely funny was during the desert scenes. And it's just simple stuff like, a guy coming in is like, okay, everybody, if a monster's been sighted, contact your supervisor as soon as possible. And the monster appears right in front of us, like, supervisor. I don't know. It's not even that clever of a line, but it made me burst out laughing. It's good comedic timing, I guess, on that one. And then there's lines at the end of the game with like the Zkeeper that just cracks me up. Just the transition in from what he was into just whatever that was, like oh man, dude, that sounds, it's Phantasma again. Man, what is he doing again? It's just ridiculous. I know there's a stereotype for that, but it's late and I can't think of it right now, so I'm gonna just it's just hilarious writing. It's great writing, and oh man, I wish I could remember some of the better lines because they're really, really funny. They make me burst out laughing. I'm not even kidding. I was literally laughing. My brother probably could hear me from the next room, and I was just laughing my ass off. It's ridiculous. Story-wise, I think it did a fine job with what it had with Mario and Luigi. It's probably not like, it didn't drag me in as much as, like, say, Paper Mario or the first Superstar Saga, but it was fun. It was a nice little story. It's kind of like, it's the same Mario and Luigi formula, but these are the kind of games where you're like, it's really the journey that kind of counts. You kind of wish for something a little bit more, but I wasn't expecting like this entire Final Fantasy-esque story, and if I was, I would be expecting Mario and Luigi games to be a lot more sad and depressing. I'm sorry, Final Fantasy VII, guys. I always give you crap for that, but Cloud's too sad. He's too sad all the time. I don't care what your reasoning is. He's too sad all the time. I don't know why I approve of that, but not Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI has a lot of sad stuff too. But anyway, next part. Villain. This is gonna be fun. Phantasma. Amazing design. I love the design. It's probably it's probably the best designed Mario villain I've seen in a while. He does not get developed enough. I'm sorry, but people are like, he should. Well, I'm gonna ruin it right now. Spoiler, if you shouldn't be watching this if you haven't beat the game. But spoiler, big spoiler right now. He's not the last boss. He's the second to last boss. Technically, he's the final dream boss, so I guess that counts. And people are like, he should have been the very, very final boss. And I'm like, why? He was developed as much as Bowser in this. Not very much. At least Bowser, we have other games where like, oh yeah, he's got all this. He's pretty mad. He's just like, we know who Bowser is. We don't need that much developing for him. And I usually do, because in Paper Mario 64, he seems like an amazing villain. He's an amazing villain in that game, and I don't know why. Well, I know why, because they actually developed him. And here, they don't really develop either of the villains. I kind of like it when like they take it off, like Paper Mario and Super Paper Mario, where they go off and talk about the villains just talk with the other villains or other people about what they're doing, or just making themselves more of a character. Especially, go back, I know some people don't like Super Paper Mario, but for God's sakes, look at Count Black. Look how much they developed him. Look how much you actually care. You know why he's doing some of this stuff. You know, like, he's a bad guy, but you kind of feel for him. In Phantasma, you're just like, he's a villain. He wants the Darkstone to have power. Woo! I haven't seen that before. Well, I haven't seen a Darkstone before, but Pokemon have a Darkstone? I don't know. I don't care. I do care. I'm sorry. I keep saying I don't care what I do. But he just wasn't developed enough. I think more screen time would have been nice. I feel like they don't put him in enough. I like Cackletta because she's in it so much. You see so much of her throughout the entire game. Phantasma, you get you get a few boss fights with him, but he doesn't say anything, and it's not like Sticker Star where there's almost no dialogue anyway, and you can get away with that because it complements the rest of the game where there's little dialogue, and then you have a villain like it's Bowser once again. I'm sorry, that was a spoiler. I shouldn't have done that, but it doesn't matter. There's little to dialogue in that game, and a villain that had absolutely no dialogue can kind of get away with it. It makes a lot of people mad. I know I know all the comments, but this is a game where there's tons of dialogue. It's filled. I'm not just talking about like optional text. Get rid of all the optional text, like characters on the side and stuff. But characters that you need to talk to get through the story, there's tons of it. There's not nearly as much as in Sticker Star, but there's so much of it, and you feel like some of that should be dedicated to the villain. The villain should have some dialogue. And before I get it, because I'm going with gripes right now, might as well talk about this. There's too many tutorials. There's too many. I can't believe how many there are. And you think you can skip them, and it goes skip them. Like, oh, so you already know? It's like, yeah, I already know. Stop talking about it. And tutorials have been in since the first game, if I remember correctly. So it's like you gotta deal with it, but there's so many. I mean, like, do we really need that many tutorials with the Luigi areas? After you get it the first time, you can kind of figure it out by yourself. The speed up thing, you got that. The slow down, why don't I just have a manual that says, oh, if you need help here, here's a little tutorial about how things work. And I remember there was one time I was called for with the gravity Luigi area, where you would you were just swimming through everything, but it's like at one point you're like, what do I do? And like, oh, press is here. I have an idea. Press the A button, and you can spring up. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was called for because that wasn't as clear. But I can't remember. Because obviously they want like, oh, you have to do different things, but there's so many of them. You could have cut it down. I don't even think they explain how the speed up one and slow down works, but you figure it out. It's like, it's not that hard of a concept. You press this one to speed up, and then it stops you mid to say, oh, you can now go through this conveyor belt really fast. Like, yeah, I already knew that. I figured that out in like the first 10 seconds. Or like the slow one's like, oh, now you can jump up really slow. Oh, really? The first time I pressed the slow down button, I thought it was going to make me jump lower. When you can obviously see when you press the slow down button, there's only so much to choose from. Like, how do you get over these spikes? Speed up? Well, that's not going to work. Slow down? Oh, look, I can jump higher. I don't know. There's so many tutorials. That's the biggest gripe I have with the game, is there's so much, and it takes you out of the game. I don't want to be mad at the game, but it did it so much throughout the entire game. I thought I was playing Final Fantasy 13 for a second. And once again, I'm bashing Final Fantasy, and I actually love the Final Fantasy series, so don't think I hate it. But with all that said, there's a lot of good things about it. More good things to say about it. The music is fantastic. Probably the best in the series. I know, like, what? Bowser's Inside Story's last boss music was the most fantastic thing in the series. And I'm like, you guys ruined that for me by putting it up all over the internet. But yeah, that song is amazing. But there's so many good songs. I stayed away from all the music this time. I was like, I'm not going to get it. It's not going to get ruined for me. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to listen to it when I get to the game. And I'm so glad I did, because all the songs are amazing. Phantasma's theme is amazing. The last boss, the Dreamy Bowser fight is amazing. The boss music, all the boss music is amazing. All the battle music. The level, like, Wait for Mount Pajama. It's a fantastic track. And of course, you got to mention that, oh, it's composed by the person that made Kingdom Hearts. Oh, yay! And to be fair, I actually have enjoyed the Mario and Luigi tracks more than the Kingdom Hearts tracks. I love the Kingdom Hearts tracks, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, there's more liberty here to have happier songs. I feel like a lot of the Kingdom Hearts songs are more depressing, like, oh, or like ominous, like, woo, and they sound amazing. Like Hollow Bastion is amazing. And I don't know if she did Sanctuary, but that still sounds kind of like depressing. And here you get a little mix of both. Well, you only get like one sad song that I can remember off the top of my head. But you get some amazing boss music. You get some amazing like scenery, happy songs. A nice change of pace with her, hearing her compose different things. And I am a fan of her. One of my favorite composers for video games, as well as everybody else on the internet. Did a fantastic job with the track, like always. She does all the... I know she did Super Mario Legend of the Seven Stars and Partners in Time through the current one. I don't know if she did Superstar Saga. I'm going to believe she did. But either way, those have all been fantastic soundtracks. I wasn't even worried about the soundtrack when the game came out. I'm like, it's going to be fantastic. It always is. And guess what? It was. Just don't be like comparing other songs to like people are comparing the final boss music. I'm like, dude, if you take that final boss music and put it in this one, it does not fit as well. It just doesn't fit as well. That's all I can say is that certain boss fights with certain music fit better than other fights with other music. And I got it in Phantasma's battle name. I can't even think of like what else would you put for music here? This one's like perfect. Could I switch in another like maybe from Partners in Time or Bowser's Inside Story music and put it here? It's like it just doesn't sound right. You could put the final boss music from Browser's Inside Story with Phantasma. It wouldn't sound right. Maybe I don't know if you guys would think it sounds right, but it sounds just weird to me with that character. Maybe it's just because they push it so much that, oh, well, he has this. The violins for him are perfect just because I get like, that's like totally Bat King, Dracula. That's perfect. That's totally what I think of when I hear Bat King. And overall, a fantastic game. It's one of my favorite 3DS games. It's not my favorite one because my favorite one, it just blew everything out of the... It was such an amazing game. This is definitely... This is a contender, though. This is an amazing title. It's a great title. If you have a 3DS, you have to get this game. Even with all just block out the tutorials. Just get through them. That's literally what you have to get through to just enjoy this game to the fullest. And it's an amazing title. I'm not going to give it a numeric score, but it definitely scores high with me. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. That's really the best way I can sum up the... Well, if the game is fun, then it did something right. The writing, fantastic. The design is beautiful. The music is wonderful. I knew there was something else I wanted to maybe gripe about or was compliment. I can't remember what it was right now. Oh yeah, the final battle with the Bowser and Phantasma switch. I thought that was really clever and really funny, and because everybody thought Phantasma was going to betray Bowser, not vice versa. Well, somebody commented on a Sticker Star video I was talking on, and they spoiled that for me. I was literally at the very end of the game. Last castle, they spoiled it for me, and I was like, no, that was gonna be so funny. That was so clever, and you spoiled it for me. That just ruined it. And the entire time I was going up the castle, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. I really wish I didn't, because it would have been so much more funny. It would have been so much more epic. But that was great. And, and if I just spoil it for you, you did it to yourself. Why are you watching reviews? Especially video reviews. Okay, but the game is fantastic. You need to go buy it. It's a great title. Fantastic title. And it just adds to the amazing 3DS library that we have right now. It's becoming incredible. We have Pokemon X and Y coming out soon. And that's just going to keep adding. That one's going to get so many sales up, it's not even funny. Well, we've already been here for almost 24 minutes, and I don't do edits on these little reviews, so enjoy 24 minutes of this. Well, you've already enjoyed the 24 minutes. Good for you. Maya, see you next time. Fantastic.